What's up guys, Nuno from Globe to Trot here, and today I'm going to show you how I've edited this picture that I published recently in Instagram. Some people have shown interest to know how I retouched this picture, so I'm going to show you step by step what I've done from the before picture that you can see here. This is in Kirkjufel in Iceland, a very known landscape that is photographed by many people. Here it was plenty of tourists and other photographers, but you don't see them because I got very close to the waterfall so that I could eliminate most of people out of my picture. So here you can see there are only two people that are going to be easily erased in the post-processing of this picture, as I'll show you in a minute. So the first thing I like to do when I edit my pictures is to define the white balance. Here, as I'm already glad with it as it was shot, I'm not going to change it. As the green and the mountains are a bit too dark, I'm going to increase exposure a tad. Water is a bit overexposed, but I'm going to deal with that later. So after defining the white balance and the exposure, I usually apply my preset as so, and as you can see, colors are already very similar to the photo that I've published previously on Instagram. So let's continue with the processing. So as I've told you before, as the water is a bit overexposed, I'm going to lower the whites a bit, just like so, and I'm going to increase clarity to get some detail to this landscape. 54, 56, it's okay like this. Now I'm going to increase the saturation a bit, just like so, as I want to increase the color here in the mountains and in the vegetation of the foreground. Let's check what was the progress so far and see the before and after. Just touch Y on your keyboard and it's going to enable the before and after view. As you can see, in just a few clicks there's a major changing between the before and the after pictures, but let's go on as we have not still achieved the after picture. Sky is a lot darker here, the mountain here has a bit more detail, and also the foreground is a bit darker. So let's continue. Most of the work now is going to be done with local adjustments, so I'm going to pick the gradual filter or gradient filter, and let's darken the sky. So let's reset this, saturation to 0, clarity to 0, and now let's darken the sky. It's also darkening the mountains, but there's no problem with it. We are going to correct it afterwards. And let's also desaturate the sky. As you can see in the end picture, the sky was a lot less saturated and with lots more contrast. So let's work on that. Let's increase saturation a bit as it was a bit too far, and I'll increase clarity, I'll increase white, and let's lower a bit blacks to bring that contrast on the sky. Shadows, I'll take them down a bit also, and now let's take care of this mountain. So there are many ways where you can get rid of the effect of the sky in the mountains. One of the easiest ways that is available in the last versions of Lightroom, it's the brush inside the mask. So you just have to select your mask here, and then you go to brush, and in this brush we are just going to click erase and auto mask on, and we are going to erase the effect of the mountain. Very easy, very effective, and the auto mask enables the possibility to preserve the edges of the mountain and to not touch the sky. If you want to know where is the mask acting, you just click here, show selected mask overlay, and it helps you to know where is still red, the effect is still working. So you can just paint in this area to remove the effect you want to apply only and exclusively to the sky. So I'm going to do this fast. Let's turn the overlay mask off and you can see the effect only applied to the sky. Okay, so looking quite good. Now let's darken the foreground with the same technique. I'm going to select a new gradient filter, there, new. We are going to put exposure to -86 and just draw the gradient filter where I want it to be, and let's play a bit with it now. Okay, I'm happy with it. By darkening the foreground, I'm drawing the viewer's attention to the central part in the background of the picture, and that's what I want to show in this picture. I'm not interested in foreground, it is here mainly for context, but the interesting part of this picture is the waterfall and the mountain in the background. Okay, so just two other things that I want to do in this picture. So one is to still lower a bit the exposure in the water. For me, the whites are still too white, and also increase a bit clarity in this region of the picture. And I also want to increase the contrast and the saturation of the mountain in the background. To do it, I'm going to use the radial gradient filter. I think it's called like this. Let's see. Yeah, radial filter. And I'm going to decrease exposure and white. Let's draw this over the water and see what's the effect. By default, when you draw these filters, they are impacting not what you select, but everything around. To change it, you just have to touch here, invert. Okay, so it's a bit too much. I'm going to increase exposure a bit, and I'm happy with it right now. Now to increase the saturation and the details on the mountain, I have two options. Either I use the radial filter again or the brush. The radial filter is going to give me a less precise but a faster result, so I'll try it first. New radial filter. Exposure, let's let it as 0. White also, and let's increase contrast. And by increasing contrast, saturation will play along. Let's see the effect. Right now the effect is impacting everything around this circle. I'm going to invert it again so that I give more detail to this mountain. Now I'm going to increase saturation a bit. I'm happy as it is. Still some minor adjustments before ending the editing of this picture. Let's get rid of these two people. To do this, when it's not possible on camera, I mainly use spot removal tool. You click here, and usually I use the heal function with 100 opacity, and I'm going to just draw over this guy. And Lightroom is going to decide what's the best part of the picture to copy from. As you can see, it hasn't done a great job here, so I'm going to move this part, and let's just select something at its side. It's going to be a more similar background to replace in a seamless way the person in the picture. Let's get far away from it to see the result. Here we are going to turn this to auto so that we don't see the lines and we can really observe the picture as it is going to be. Let's do the same thing for the other person. Okay, there you go. On Instagram, pictures cannot be published on 3:2 format, and that is the format that is used by most of the digital cameras. In fact, the highest format that Instagram allows is 4:5. To do it, you have to select the crop tool here, and you go to aspect. You change it from original to 4:5 or 8:10, and there you go. You just place it wherever you want, and it's done. This was the before picture, and this is the after picture. And as you can see, in 5 minutes you can completely change your picture and give it a different feel. I'm not telling that this is better than this one. It's just a creative process that enables you to achieve the result you want. For some purposes I would go with a more natural look, but on Instagram lately I'm going with more this orange and very contrasty look. with desaturated skies and some desaturated parts of the picture. You can like it or dislike it. In art, everybody has a different opinion. Hope you liked this video. Hope you got some value from it. I hope that it is going to help you to edit your pictures. It's not difficult, you just have to go with a step-by-step process, and by doing it lots and lots of times you are going to know exactly what you need to do to achieve the results you want. Let me know if you want me to do more videos on how I edit my pictures on Lightroom or Adobe Photoshop. If you have any question, comment or suggestion, please leave it on the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.